Monarch Crest store. Nice enough. They had a little room for us and stuff. But we're leaving because everything costs $12,000.
There's $5 and something cents for people.
We're going back out into the woods. The main reason we hike like this is so that we don't spend money. Because we have horrible gambling addictions. And so if we're in the woods and we have no phone service, we cannot gamble and spend all our money. So yeah, we're gonna go 4 days to Twin Lakes, and that starts right now. Uncle Ted over here has been looking at these steamrollers and wondering how far he could get and how many Colorado Trail hikers he could grease on the trail. Not very far from Granby, Colorado, actually, which is where the Killdozer incident happened. This isn't the first time we talked about using industrial machinery for questionable uses. It's a theme now. You and Zoolander are two peas in a pod.
Making shit up.
If you're still watching these videos, I'm gonna have to assume you know what the Killdozer is, because it's a pretty strong selection bias. But if not, look it up. I think in the early 2000s, guy in Granby, Colorado, went postal and armored his bulldozer and destroyed the town. Pretty divisive thing. He's kind of an anti-hero in some ways. Little background here for Collegiate West, which is the high rock of Collegiate Peaks. It's going to be about 80 miles to Twin Lakes from now. Some of the biggest elevation change sections of the whole trail. Really large passes and valleys that we have to go through. Some really long exposed ridge rocks. It's a very beautiful area. It's just the kind of place you hope for not to go thunders, which could happen in a few days. We'll see what we have to do when that time comes. So a decision's been made. Clover isn't feeling the altitude too much right now, but I am. There's an altitude up at that where instead of diving down this path to the right here. We'll see how that goes. Yeah.
Do anything stupid? Turn around if you have to. If all goes well, CDT caught.
Yeah. Au revoir, Shoshana. I go this way. So you gotta go up this ridge, which reverse around the side. But it's insanely steep. Maybe I should just go the ridge because I'm alone. Be safe. I'm gonna take a look. Let's see if this is stable enough anyways. Being lower, we cut down on the wind a bit too, which is being very annoying. It's only downside to this insane. Actually, although this is really steep, it's worth it. So the CDT follows that road through this valley by these lakes and stuff, and I'll reattach with it. I'll shoulder this mountain up there, but for now, I'm staying up on the ridge. See how long it takes for them to get spooked. that. All this ridge and it does pretty steep, but I think it'll be okay. There's actually sketchy mine shafts over there, but I didn't do anything about that. I'll keep an eye out and make sure I don't fall into one of those. It is very steep on this down slope, but the rocks are large and aren't likely to move much underneath me. It is pretty steep, but again, it's relatively stable, so it's not that bad. I'm more just out of breath than anything. Well, there's trail markers and posts. Look at this. I don't know if I should go around the left or just straight up the front of it. And I'm kind of leaning towards going straight up the front. It is a little bit of hand over hand, but everything's like rock solid and stable, so it's pretty good. All said. What a view up here, though. All right, it's leveling off. Not too bad now. All right, this is it, Monumental Peak. Really can see a lot from here. Can see all the way back to the San Juans over there where we came from about a week or two ago. And then the ridge I just came up. I've planned on meeting Clover down here by this lake to camp tonight. I'm going to be there really early, but it's okay because otherwise we won't have anywhere to camp because everything that way is shit. I remember it from my time on the CT. Well, it comes with the territory. I was scrambling down this talus slope when I slipped, hit my ankle, and snapped the end of my trekking pole off, which is kind of a big deal because it's integral to my tent, so my tent won't work without it. So I'm basically overnighting one to Twin Lakes or Leadville now. Luckily, I'm high enough up to have service, but that was dumb. $100 down the drain. So I've kind of descended a bit from there. And I'm looking at the spine I've got to go down. And against my nature, I've decided I'm actually going to go backwards down this way. Because I've already snapped my trekking pole and fallen once, so this looks like a smoother way down, even if it adds half a mile. Starting to get a little bit more level here. I've only smashed my feet into 1 out of every 3 rocks on this slope, so I'm glad to be getting down to the bottom. All right, here I am back on trail. Was it worth it? I don't know, it's probably about the same amount of work, even though it was shorter. I did snap a trekking pole in half, and I basically paid $80 to see those elk. But I think it was worth it. What a lovely valley, though, with these lakes. Really, really pretty. We all know what I did today because I documented it. What did you do? You said you talked to some ladies, huh? You got married somewhere on trail?
Yeah, I fell in love, basically.
Trail runners?
Huh?
Trail runners?
Yeah, they were runners.
Hmm.
It was a very active town, the Salida or Monarch Pass, whoever lives around here. It's good to see.
We'll reminisce on that when you sleep tonight. We're gonna get up really early because Clover wants to show off to all the trail runners that he's motivated. No, I mean, I'm just kidding.
trail itself is kind of uncampable from 15 to 28 miles from here, and we're not going under 15, and we need to go at least 28, which is including 6,000 feet of elevation gain. So it's going to be a rough day, but it's going to be pretty, so looking forward to it. If you're very astute, you might notice that we're on the old CDT, not the new CDT. We're doing this because last time I was here, I did the old CDT, or the new CDT. And this time we're going down this way because there's a world famous brothel that Clover wants to visit.
Hey now.
It doesn't exist anymore, but he's very excited because he's a brothel historian, as he describes himself.
That's not anything I ever said. The real, also, just as a side note, the old CDT routes are often, I find, a lot better because there's a lot less people on them. This one's pretty short, so it's not really going to mean anything, but generally speaking, if you have to like take a shit, go down the old CDT. No one's going to bother you except for maybe cows.
I didn't know you took me down this to do that.
Yeah, we're going to hold hands while we dump.
There was a ghost town just downhill from us that we didn't get to see, but Clover was kind of upset about it because he's never seen a brothel ghost before.
Oh my god.
What if the whole CDT was graded like this?
Probably be pretty boring.
So the first of the big climbing is about to start on the collegiates. You can see the switchbacks on the side of this mountain over here. Can't wait to go over to the top of that in about an hour. Infrastructure.
This is the second bridge I've seen. The first one that was a real bridge.
Yeah, the first one that was intact.
Wow.
Incredible. So we ran into one other thru hiker named Peppa just a minute ago, who told us him and two others were going to go to Cottonwood Pass, which is in 17 miles, and hitch into Buena Vista and get a burger and then hitch right back out. And we were like,
Burgers?
yeah, we argued, we contemplated it for about 9 milliseconds, and we're like, I guess we're doing that too. So we'll see if that works.
We're still making miles.
Yeah, we'll still be at like a 28-mile day, but it's just more motivation to go fast. And before anybody spazzes at me for my pronunciation, it's not me. All these Coloradans here are illiterate or something. Salida is Salida. Buena Vista is Buena Vista. There's a lot more like that, so don't fucking look at me like I'm an idiot. This forest is deep and lush. It feels like kind of like in the Pacific Northwest a little bit. Little update. One mention of a cheeseburger, and here we are. It's 11:20 a.m. We've gone 18 miles already. We thought this is going to be a miserable day. 28.
I was really geared myself up for a fucking slog today, but the burger is just like,
I don't know. We've done 2/3 of the elevation gain already, and we're 2/3 the way through, and it's not even fucking noon. So I think we have to get a cheeseburger at this point. We might even do 30 actually afterwards, because we'll hit it back to the trail and then do another 3 or 4. So we'll see. to the west over here is the Maroon Bells and Aspen and those kind of areas. It's a very large, wide valley between us, though. Much clearer now than it was the last time I looked out this way when I was on my CT in 2021. Small world story about this place, actually. So when I was on the Colorado Trail, I came up to Cottonwood Pass going southbound, opposite of where I am now, and I had to poop really bad. I had no idea if there would be a pit toilet there or not, but I was holding out hope. When I got there, there wasn't. In the opposite kind of situation, it was just a parking lot filled with people, obviously above tree line, nowhere to hide. So I said, I'm going to push it, and I'm just going to get as far as I can down trail and just do what I can. And I get to about the top of this mountain. There's been a day hiker following me. I've been trying to slow down, he slows down. I speed up, he speeds up. And I finally just pushed up some switchbacks and get some distance between myself and him and go over the other side of the little hill. And it's kind of an emergency at that point. So what happens, happens. But he follows me over the hill and makes eye contact with me while I'm doing it. And I'm just like, oh, God damn it, what the fuck? Of course, a day hiker would follow me and do that. And I think, you know, I'll never see him again. It's no big deal. 2-3 days later, I'm in Salida. I hitch in, try to get a burger just like I am right now. First restaurant I walk into, I open the door. The person immediately standing in front of me is that guy. Don't know how it happened, but of course it would happen. I'm just hoping I have a more pleasant experience at this place. In other news, this is an incredibly beautiful alpine lake down here. It's very steep down there, but I should come back and take a dip in this thing. That's like something out of a storybook.
We got 3:30 on the nose.
3:32 actually. Here we are hitchhiking at Cottonwood Pass. We'll be able to get a burger and back out before the sun goes down easy. So we just got dropped off and
Hey! Found it!
burgers attained. I have a fucking malt.
I also got a shake.
We ran into Zoolander, Little Bigfoot, and Bushwhack here, who all independently ended up in this town. We actually got the same hitch. Same people gave us a ride as Zoolander and Little Bigfoot. But now we're having to split up because we got to go back to trail. Because we're not going to get sucked in here. Hotels here are $210. Not doing it. So we got to go. We're sticking to the plan. Burger, back to trail. I've got to say, this is a bizarre experience. Being up in the mountains like we were, and then dropping into a town like this for 1 hour, and then immediately vaporizing from the town and going back up the trail.
We haven't vaporized quite.
Yeah, I gotta find a Coke in a gas station, but other than that, this is weird. And we're back, yeah. It's 6:30 right now. Let's see. 3 hours on the dot. We were at, 20 miles down the mountain, ate burgers, malts. It came right back up.
We're already making positive miles. We've gone 10 feet.
Yeah, we could make it 30 today. We literally could. I don't know if we are,
I don't know if we are.
but this has been a good day. We also want to add a really nice guy named Dave. Gave us a ride all the way up here immediately on hitching. This is not groveling to Dave because I know he's saying follow this YouTube channel. But thank you very much, Dave.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, made it very easy. This was such a smooth trip into town. I still can't believe how well that went. We're coming down here into Texas Creek, which is obviously gorgeous based on the name. I think that tomorrow morning we're gonna have to do this, which I think is Lake Ann Pass or something over here in this area. We're gonna have to go over one of these high passes and everybody's freaking out about the snow, but we'll see how bad it is when we get there. If you want a window into the thru hikers' appetite level, we're debating on whether to cook dinner tonight
And what we just had in Buena Vista was, me personally, I had a double cheeseburger, 4 chicken strips, a chocolate malt, a 20-ounce Coke, and then also another tall boy Pepsi. And I'm still wondering if I should cook. What did you eat?
I had 3 sodas, strawberry shake, and apple juice. And I also have some homemade fudge.
Yeah.
I haven't eaten that yet, though.
Is it going to be enough?
Probably not.
It seems like a lot, but when you consider the fact that we woke up this morning at 5, did a marathon at 12,000 feet, 6,000 feet of gain, and then went and ate that, and we're back on trail now doing more. It's not that much. It's not that bad, actually.
It's really just a light snack.
This is what we got for camp tonight, actually. It's pretty cool looking. We're worried about getting condensation, but it's a really nice spot. 29 miles today with a town stop, burgers and malts, and ending up here on this tranquil little pond that I wouldn't drink out of with a 30,000 foot straw made out of copper and fucking uranium. But it's a nice spot.
It's pretty.
Yeah.